6 thrash metal albums by Kreator, Destruction, Onslaught, Testament, Possessed and Sepultura. All of them on vinyl, all of them with gatefold sleeves. We're going to take a look at each of these gorgeous covers, discover what lurks within each gatefold sleeve, and then at the end I'm going to decide which one is the best album. Let's do this, and furthermore, let's do this for Satan. Hello there, you mosh pit mauler. I'm Jason Arnopp, the author of chilling thrillers Ghoster and The Last Days of Jack Sparks, plus Doctor Who, fiction and non-fiction alike. Before all of that though, I used to be a rock journalist for Kerrang magazine. And just before we unwrap this vinyl, let me tell you that you can read a collection of 30 of my favourite interviews I ever wrote for Kerrang magazine in a book of mine called From the Front Lines of Rock. That's enough preamble. Possessed. Oh, Possessed. Look at this cover. Possessed have always had great covers. Actually, when I think about it, and this has only just occurred to me, their first album cover was pretty basic, 7 churches. That wasn't exactly what you'd call a classic cover, although I do like it. And ever since, it's like they've been trying to make up for it with Beyond the Gates that folds out into a great big spectacular, The Eyes of Horror, the mini LP with a gorgeous cover illustration, and this that you could be looking at all day and probably still notice new details in it. It's a gorgeous kind of labyrinthine, overblown church. And there's been quite a gap between the 1989 mini album The Eyes of Horror and this album, The Revelations of Oblivion, on Nuclear Blast. As most of these albums are on Nuclear Blast, only the Onslaught album is on AFM Records. So thank you to Nuclear Blast and AFM for supplying the channel with these albums. Down in comments after you've watched this video, I want you to get down there and tell me which of these albums I'm going to be looking at is your favourite, and also which is your favourite cover. Actually, maybe, yeah, I'll choose favourite cover and favourite album sonically, and I'd like you to do the same. Albums are so nice these days. I know they're ridiculously expensive, to be honest, but they're also reassuringly thick. Gorgeously thick spines, yeah. Okay, so, oh god, there's something in here. Well, it's the records themselves. Yeah, this is a 2-disc release. Let's have a look on the back there. As you can see, it's a 4-sided album. The album has been divided up into 4. I have mixed feelings about that. I mean, you do get better sound quality, I guess. Actually, I've made my peace with it because it means that ergonomically, I'm sitting at my desk writing scary stories, and I have to get up more often to change the vinyl over, and that's probably good for my posture and overall ergonomic well-being. What in the name of all that's unholy lurks within this gatefold? I'm going to let you be the first to see. Okay, it's a load of lyrics on black. Black! Yes, marvellous. And that's fine. I mean, I wouldn't have minded a bit of a photo collage. You know, there's the old thrash metal tradition of having a photo collage of like, you know, various tours and things like that. But I think that looks pretty cool, actually. That's quite nicely designed, isn't it? So I think that's fine. And this is a really good album. I think it's been worth the wait, this album. Possessed have always kind of straddled death metal and thrash metal, and I would say it sees them just erring towards the death metal sound, which is fine by me. It's just interesting, isn't it? You know, which way they kind of choose to go. I mean, they did help invent death metal. I mean, them and Death back in the 80s pretty much invented death metal. By the way, speaking of death, there's a really good documentary on Amazon Prime called Death by Metal about Death and Chuck Schuldiner, their leader, and I really recommend you watching that if you're a fan of Death. If you're not on Amazon Prime, you can get a 30-day free trial using a link that I will put down there, so enjoy. What's next? Onslaught. And by the way, I'm going to put links downstairs in the video description so you can pick up any of these albums if you like at Amazon on both sides of the Atlantic, and also HMV here in the UK. Now, Onslaught are, for my money, the finest, I'm pretty sure, the finest UK thrash band. And like all of the bands in this selection, the wonderful thing about all these bands here is that their roots lie in the 80s and they're still going. These are not reissues from the 80s. Oh no, these are all current albums, and that makes me very happy. It's so cool that so many of those old school thrash metal bands are still in action, and they're still going strong as well. They're not just limping along. This is the latest Onslaught studio album, which came out I think about a month ago, Generation Antichrist, and it's sterling stuff. It's as hard as you like, and I suspect you like it hard. Know what I mean? Didn't mean it like that. Tracks include Rise to Power, Strike Fast, Strike Hard, Bow Down to the Clowns, and Religious Suicide. One word. Religious Suicide. Lovely. So let's see what's in the middle. Once again, I'll let you see first. It's lyrics, but with a background image. What is that background image? I can't see. Is it the album cover? Oh God, I've just poked myself in the eye with an Onslaught album. That's how deadly this album is. Oh, it's a very cool skull type thing, a little bit like the Overkill skull, or indeed the skull on the cover of Beneath the Remains, which is Sepultura's 1989 album. Yeah, this is a fine piece of work. This is also, this particular one I've got here, is the orange vinyl release. Oh, I love a bit of coloured vinyl, don't you? Yeah. There's only 100 orange vinyl copies of this album, so tell me down in comments if you own one of these as well, or tell me if you own another one. The third album, 6, is Sepultura, QUADRA by Sepultura. This is also their most recent studio album, and it's a fine and noble piece of work. I'm so happy that Sepultura is still going. Sepultura were my first trip abroad for Kerrang magazine. It was 1989. I went to Copenhagen to see them play. They were on the Beneath the Remains tour, supporting Sodom, and what a great show that was at a little club. It's so great that Sepultura is still going, albeit in a different form. Let's see what lurks. Not beneath the remains, but inside the gatefold. Oh, that's pretty cool. Wow. And it's got the track listing there. Unusually, the track listing is not on the cover at all. That is an odd move, but there it is. You've got tracks like Isolation, appropriately enough. I'm guessing they did not foresee the virus, but nevertheless, Capital Enslavement, Raging Void, the Pentagram. Oh, I do love a pentagram. One of my favourite thrash metal song titles is Die in the Pentagram by a Japanese band called Fast Kill. And actually that song is fantastic as well. Actually, I'll put a link downstairs. It's also interesting to note that this album has a couple of inserts. Two very nice lyrical inserts, and it's actually got the lyrics presented in a really creative way. Look at that. Yeah, you got them presented in a very unusual way, as opposed to the standard lyrical presentations that you normally see. Do hang around till the end, by the way, because as you might remember, I'm going to tell you what is my favourite cover and also my favourite album out of the 6. What's next? Whoa, Testament. I'm so glad I got to see Testament play at the London Kentish Town Forum just under 2 weeks before lockdown happened in the UK. I saw them and Exodus and Death Angel. Thank God I went to see them. And what a gorgeous cover this is. 3 gods messing about with what looks like a load of fire and lava and stuff. You can't beat that, can you? And it's a really good album. For me, it's one of those classic situations that happens with a lot of thrash metal bands, whereby their first 2 albums are your favourites, and then after that they kind of maybe chased a bit of Metallica success in the late 80s / early 90s and maybe went off the boil a bit. And I think that was the case with Testament, at least as far as I'm concerned, even though they stayed heavy, you know, but they had ballads. I don't want to hear a ballad on a thrash metal album. But the point is, they're very much back on form with this album. And yeah, Children of the Next Level is a great track, and I love that it's got a song called Curse of Osiris, which is a real ripping thrash metal song, because on the first album, one of my favourite Testament songs is Curse of the Legions of Death, and that's a ripping thrasher as well. So it's nice to have a Curse song back on a Testament album. Now then, let's see what's in here. Oh, wow, yeah. That's nice. You've got a nice combination of images of each of the band members that have been really kind of, you know, nicely edited in a kind of with a kind of almost fantasy kind of look to them. And you've got the lyrics. Great. Yeah, I'm so happy to have this on vinyl. That's really nice. Just checking there's no other inserts. No, why would there be? Because the lyrics are inside it. Okay, we've got 2 more to go. Kreator and Destruction, both live albums. Let's have a look. If you can't already tell, then this is basically like thrash metal Christmas morning for me. Even though 2 vinyls have just fallen out at the bottom of the Destruction sleeve. I didn't hear any breakage, so it should be all right. Oh yes, Destruction. I love German thrash metal. Yeah, Destruction, Kreator, Sodom and Exuma as well. We mustn't forget Exuma, who are very much one of the finest thrash metal bands out there. If you haven't heard their most recent album, Hostile Defiance, then I'll put a link down there with the links to these other albums in this video, because you need to hear this album. So this is a live album, Born to Thrash, which of course is a play on the band's most recent album, Born to Perish, which is very good. Love the title track. The title track especially felt very old school Destruction. Live in Germany, this album, and you can see very clearly there the track listing. That's a nice collection of songs. Curse the Gods, Nailed to the Cross, Mad Butcher, Life Without Sense, Total Disaster, The Butcher Strikes Back, and Bestial Invasion, and Thrash Till Death. What a lovely collection of songs. Now, what's inside here? I wonder if it's a picture of the band playing live. It's 4 pictures of the band. 4 pictures of the band playing live, and an overall glorious gatefold sized picture of them live and looking delighted. There we go. But there's more, because inside I've noticed there's a few inserts, and I'm going to investigate. Classic thrash metal collage insert, very glossy too. That's really good. There's thank yous there and credits and stuff like that. But there's also something in the other side, so let's see what that might be. Yeah, this is quite a thing. What is this? Is that a poster? I can't even see over it. Jesus. Yeah, I think it might be a list of all the places Destruction have ever played. That's a bit mad, but I've never seen anything like that before. I like it. So I've seen Destruction several times in the last 10 years. I'd say about 4 times in London, I would say, and each time they have been fantastic. The last time I saw them, they were supporting Overkill as well, who are another of my favourite bands. Okay, only 1 more to go, and I think you know which one it is because you saw it in the opening scene of this same video. Kreator. What a gorgeous cover that is. That is absolutely special, isn't it? Really nice, and there's a lovely effect on the band's name there. How cool, by the way, that so many of these bands had a really cool logo from the very start, and they've still got the same logo. You know, they didn't start off with something that somebody designed on the back of a fag packet in crayon, and then they had to change it later on after the second album. Kreator have always had this really cool logo. This was recorded in London at the Camden Roundhouse, and I really wish I could have been there. I missed that gig, but it's got a really good track listing. I mean, again, Kreator are one of those bands where, to be honest, the first 3 albums are the ones that I really, really love. And more recently, though, they've been really good too. I mean, there's kind of a mid-period there. I really liked the Renewal album. That was very different, kind of like industrial meets thrash. And then there was a bit of a wilderness period. But the last couple of albums, especially Phantom Antichrist and Gods of Violence, have been really, really strong. And so there's loads of strong stuff on here. And for me, the fact it's got Awakening of the Gods, which is probably my favourite Kreator track. What's yours? Tell me in comments. Yeah, the fact it's got Awakening of the Gods means that, you know, it's a great album by default. Because what a song. What a song. That is an amazing album cover. And let's see what's inside the gatefold. Whoa, yes. That is heavy metal, isn't it? Isn't that metal? Metal. Lovely. I don't think there's any inserts, but let me just check for you. No, nothing, but I don't think you really need anything. That's a hell of a thing. Okay, so we've reached the point where I tell you my favourite cover out of these 6 records, and I actually think it has to be Kreator. I think that's an amazing cover. That's so gorgeous. They're all really good covers. The runner-up for me would be Testament, because I think that's a great cover with it just looks epic, doesn't it? But also I love the Possessed cover. I don't know. I could almost have flipped a coin, a three-sided coin I could almost have flipped to determine which was the best cover, but I love the colours of this. I love a good rich red, and this is a rich red to be reckoned with. Try saying that after a few sherries. So which is the best album of the 6 out of Kreator, Destruction, Onslaught, Testament, Sepultura and Possessed? I ran out of fingers there, didn't I? Do you see that? I like a live album. I enjoy live albums, but I don't love them. So Kreator and Destruction, as much as I love the bands, almost more than life itself, I can't pick a live album. And so it's a tricky one. Possessed and Onslaught almost took the top spot, and God, so did Sepultura. But I think Testament is the best album because it's a really, really strong comeback album, and it's really heavy. It's got a gorgeous cover. But I think overall, Testament is the finest, but it's only by a matter of degree. This is all great stuff. Don't forget, you can buy any of these albums downstairs via various linkage. Now, in about 17 seconds, I'm going to show you 4 more videos that you might want to carry on watching that are to do with rock and metal and thrash. But before then, my amazing Patreon supporters really help this channel improve and grow. If you'd like to join them and receive perks, including having your name scrolling up the screen in this lovely list of incredible people, then take a look at the Patreon link down in the video description and join us. And don't forget, until next time, embrace your obsessions.